Are you in StarCraft?
Yeah.
Let me send out like all the 8,000 tweets and shit I need to do.
Yeah. I just tweeted at you, so.
Just no context, just
No I don't.
Absolutely not.
What do I need context for? No one actually follows my Twitter at this point.
That's a good point. Are we week 8? I don't fucking remember. Yeah, right? Week 8? Yeah, week 8. Is it bad that I literally just tweet it and then retweet it from the All In channel?
No.
Why not? Alright, is this thing live? We good? We chill?
Yep.
Leave? Let's take a look. It says offline? Maybe? Nope. Is it going? I think we're good. Sweet. Alright, your head's like a little bit to the right, but it's fine. You just with the lighting, it looks really funny because you have such like bright lighting, and I have like this yellow tinted shit because I'm in the fucking basement. But it's
I
okay.
could theoretically dim my lights, but
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Far away.
It just makes you look so much whiter. It makes me look much more Asian. It's okay. It's all good.
It's
What we're about here at All Inspiration. We're all about
promoting as much racial stereotyping as possible.
Exactly. Are you online? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm online.
I can't find you.
Are you up in arms about the potential of the male lead in Mulan being a white guy?
I don't give a shit. Just don't watch it. like if it's a fucked up dude, fucked up movie, just don't support it. I don't give a shit. That's always been my stance.
By the Once Upon a Time, spoiler warning in case anyone's listening, but I mean they made Mulan a lesbian in Once Upon a Time. So.
Did they?
Yes.
Of course they did. Hey, they're taking creative, I don't know, whatever, creative liberties. That was what I was looking at.
And had her in love with Aurora from Sleeping Beauty.
Sure, why not? Well, yeah.
I mean, why not?
Hey,
I had to give out the spoiler
it's
in case.
It's TV. Nobody watches that shit anyway. Actually, no. Is that on Netflix?
No, it's on TV.
It's on TV. Wait, is it on Netflix though, or is it on any kind of streaming service?
It's on Netflix.
Okay, so if it's on Netflix, people are gonna watch it. That's the thing. You gotta make sure, because it's like a whole new thing now. There's TV and then there's Netflix, and Netflix is way more popular, I think. So,
I mean, I wouldn't say way more popular because Game of Thrones exists, but yeah.
HBO streaming, close enough.
Pretty much.
All right, so what do we got here? We got a little bit of Chobo Team League action. We get into the final 2 matches, final 2 weeks. I think right now I didn't have it brought up, but we are close to the end. Guns Roaches sitting at a 2-4 record. All Inspiration at 3-3, trying to make that playoff push. So this is a big week, and luckily we were up 2-0 to begin with.
That's always a good start.
They could not find a goal player to play against Bolt. So Bolt, good job, scared him off.
Very nice.
Good job. And Ace played. I think he was supposed to play really late on Sunday, and the guy didn't show up, or showed up late, and Ace played couldn't play late. So yeah, 2-0 to start. Good job, Silver. Good job, Gold. And so we're gonna start with the Platinum match, which is Do Try, staple of the All Inspiration CTL team. Basically, one of our very few Platinums. Although you're Platinum, right? You could.
I am.
You should see if you can play. No, actually no. Fuck it. Don't play. Never mind.
But I have to like sign up with CTL.
Yeah, and you also got a challenge though. Do try to see if you can beat him. I don't know. I haven't seen you play in a while. I haven't seen him play in a while. Well, haven't seen him play against a Terra in a while.
I haven't played in a while because I haven't been home before 8:30 in a while.
That's usually an issue. At least a bit. All right, so we're gonna go into this game. It's gonna be a ZVT on the Galactic Process.
Well, at least it's a matchup that we can cast.
It is. The thing about this matchup on this map is I feel like just 3 Racks Reaper and you win the game. I don't think you did that, but it's pretty good. So let's go into it.
Well, keep in mind, sometimes just the threat of it happening, as long as you
freaks
don't
me
do
out.
it, and then the threat is there, and then your opponent over prepares for it, and then you win regardless. I mean,
Yep.
it's all about the mind games here at the CTL.
Yes. It really is actually. It's a lot of weird builds and stuff that people do that just I don't know. It's just if you're afraid of a build, you over prepare one direction because you got a whole week to prepare, right? So
Yep.
who knows what could be going through your mind. All right. So in the bottom left-hand corner, we have playing for Team Guns and Roaches. It is Omega LSA.
And over here in the top right, we have the Teal Terran representing Team All In. Do try.
Do try. I keep trying to say Dotry, even though I know it's not Dotry because it just I don't know. He even capitalized it for me as do try, and I keep thinking it's Dotry. There we go. Nice Omega giving the little friendly banter. I'm always terrified when they're talking to me. Like let's see who can type better and also play the game at the same time. It's a whole different element.
Yep.
Do try saying he's not good playing. He was silver last year, you know. Meanwhile, Omega's gonna go for an old drone scout.
Do you think that is like given the T-Rex Reaper on this map that he just feels the need to drone scout, or
maybe, but like for me, if I see a 3x Reaper, they usually by the time like how I prepare for a 3x Reaper isn't gonna change too much until I see the first 2 Reapers coming out. Like I'll see the first Reaper get to my base, see the second Reaper come out, I'm like, oh shit, there is 3x Reaper, and then start preparing from there. If I see it early, I'm not gonna change my build that much, right? Because you don't want to change it too much and sacrifice that much economy for trying to prepare for this build. Because if you like switch it up and make like Roaches immediately, so your economy is a lot of whack, and it's sort of damage.
That was hatch gas pool.
I think so. Yes, hatch gas pool, but no mine from the gas at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a mistake by Omega or just
something very specific in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the high ground command center, which turns out to be pretty not necessary considering he's facing a hatch first, and he already has a barracks down. So in reality, this command center could easily be placed on the lower ground and have no threat of getting capped.
Yeah, but it's safe. Why not, right?
Yep. Feeling safe is always an underrated value. Sometimes you just feel safe and it's good.
It's surprising this drone actually gets out. Oh, maybe not. I may have spoken too soon. Is the Reaper gonna get him?
I don't know, actually. Depends on which path he goes. So it looks like from here, Dutry is going to transition into an extra barracks factory. So he's going to start getting his tech ready while needing to pressure with this Reaper a little bit.
Nice little pullback here from Omega. Make sure he doesn't lose too many drones. A lot of weakened drones here, but not too many losses. Only lost one, I think. Right?
He only lost the one. So let's see what Dutry's plan is. I mean, he's really just done the standard: make a bunch of drones, make a couple queens, slings, to see if and when he decides to start his tech or another expansion. Looks like he's gonna go for an expansion because he's gonna clear out this third with these lings.
They do the same thing I always do, where I immediately assume the Zerg player is all in. when Dutry is actually the Terran.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dutry looks like he's gonna go for that standard 2-1-1. Get the double medevac stim and see what he can do with that push.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's gonna go out, do this push that all these Terrans love to do nowadays, and it's just like probably really the only way Terran gets pressure out nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much. The utility you can get with those medevacs, be able to move them around with Stim Marines is just so much. And the great thing, I think, with it, and I think the reason this build is so popular, is that while it is a pressure build, it's so light on actual units that you're not cutting anything to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You were already going to get Stim. You were always going to get some Marines and some medevacs. So in reality, it's just an attack that's perfectly timed out, so you don't have to sacrifice any economy, you just go for it.
Yep. The other thing it's a little scary about the build, though, is that when you do this, right, you go across the map with basically your entire army. So a lot of times what people have been doing is they've been going for 3 base heavy link style to A, defend it, and then B, also if has something left over, they go for a bust at the same time with banelings and do a lot of damage back at home of the Terran.
Yeah.
True
that's
did that a lot,
definitely-
right? In WCS, Montreal WCS, right?
Yeah.
And he took a couple games off some pretty good Terrans that way.
Yeah, that's definitely what should be doing, and that's I think probably the best way. I think to defend against this style, because it's just so hard to defend against this without taking losses, because even if you completely cover everything, you're probably not going to kill these Marines and these medevacs until you have, mutas or something like that.
Yeah,
so if you're at least trying to counter pressure, it's probably the best way to keep these units home. It looks like Omega is going to be using Roaches for defense. He's got 4 out, a couple of Ravagers as well, so it looks like it's going to be his defensive orient. He should see these medevacs. He has an overlord position, so see how good his defense is.
Interestingly enough, Dutry is going to go with a little bit of different variation on this build. Instead of full 2 medevac for Stim Marines, he has going to take the Widowmine with him as well.
Yep. He's going to charge right in here. He's going to get at least 1 queen for his troubles, but he's doing losing a whole bunch of Marines in the process.
Yeah, and that Widowmine did not really help.
Yeah. Looks like Omega basically cleaned up almost all of the units, which is...
Omega trying for the downtown shot, trying to hit the medevac as it's flying away, but that's always very hard. What I would have liked to do Omega do is actually take out the Widowmine with the double Raptor shot.
Which actually could respawn and do a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, it's going to do some damage, but nothing here is low enough to get killed.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit this queen probably, or the Overlord for sure, why not?
Damage a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So taking stock of where we are, Omega, 47 drones, so he's beginning to get his economy racked up all the way up to 51, while Dutry sitting on 30 SCVs, his third just now going down. So it looks like Dutry is a little bit behind where he probably would like to be, not really getting any damage done other than I think 1 queen.
Yeah.
Is that attack?
Queen and some wings I think, but if you look at the supply, he's down, what, 91 to 70 now. His army's down a little, like 10 or so. But he's getting his third up, so he's not going to be in too bad of shape. He's got a Liberator and a couple Marines, so but he also, more importantly, scattered out what Omega wants to do, right? He wants to go for these Roaches, right? A nice big hardy army to just push in.
Yeah. And we're seeing Dutry go to Concussive Shell, so it looks like he's going to want to play with, Marines, Marauders, tanks, the stuff that's good against Roaches.
Yeah, so third base is up for both players. Omega actually taking 6 gases. Not actually mining from his 5th and 6th yet. No Lair. Oh no, it's Lair. Sorry.
No, he has a Hydra Den.
There. So it's gonna be Roach Hydra into mostly Bio-ish force. Mostly. Oh, it's Bio and Siege Tank. All right.
Yeah.
So this may not actually be the best. I think actually against straight Roach Hydra, right? You think straight Bio is probably the best.
Yeah, straight Bio is probably the best, but once lurkers get involved, it gets kind of dicey because it is hard for straight Bio to engage against it. Now, if he's good with his tanks and potentially with lurkers, you can kind of deal with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry.
It's all good. So in the end, it's just gonna be a straight macro versus macro army here, right? So gonna be straight brute force Roach Hydra versus straight brute force Bio Siege Tank Liberator. There's a little bit of micro you can do, but there's not gonna be any crazy splitting, no crazy like siege tank setups and splitting Marines back and forth. It's gonna be.
There is a slight upgrade lead for Dutry with 1-1 against 0-1. Yeah. So.
Oh, Dutry, do not run in there. Oh, the move command. Oh, he's gotta run out.
Takes a bunch of corrosive vials. This is 1 tank right away.
That hurts. Luckily for him, there is not much in the air here, so these Liberators should have free reign. I don't think the Hydras are out yet. Oh, except for the Ravager Valves. Forgot about that thing. So one of the Liberators do go down. That's very unfortunate for Dutry, walking right into the army, completely on move command, getting caught on the ramp, and lost a lot of stuff to that couple Ravager Vials.
Yeah, and it took those corrosive vials. You saw just how much they can devastate an army if you don't move away from them. Although the thing is, as bad as that fight started for Dutry, there was quite a bit of tank damage done towards the end. I still think he's certainly behind. It definitely came out in the worst of that engagement, but I think it could have been worse if he had lost both of his tanks.
Oh, there's a lot of unsupported Ravagers down here. If Dude-Try could actually jump on top of it, that would be pretty good. But he looks like he's a little afraid, doesn't want to go into it. Not sure what else is there. There's, Omega's army is a little split here, so if he could take and engage with one half of his army while the other half of the army is split off.
Yeah. He's gonna have to recognize that it is split off, but now he's actually gonna get a little bit sandwiched here. He's gonna be able to fight off one half of his army, but he's basically cut off his forces. He's gonna have to really do something.
Yeah, but now the surround's coming in. He's gonna fight off this half of the army, but the other half's coming in. So not a terrible trade for Dude-Try. He does pick up and get out of there, though.
Yeah, I think that was probably the best he could have hoped for. He got a pretty nice engagement against half of the army, and then once the second half showed up, he picked up and left. And with this wall here and this one tank, it might not be enough, but he's at least in a slightly better defensive position behind this wall.
Yeah, what will be kind of scary though, as you see this whole bunch of Ravagers are right in front of his wall, and it's basically his free reign because the siege tanks aren't going to reach while he hammers away at the wall with these corrosive piles.
Yeah. And if these mainlanes get in here, that could be a lot of damage.
Yep. The enemies don't have speed, but they're going to run up into the try getting on top of the bio. Doesn't get too much. Dude-Try is going to hold this off for now, I think. There's two Liberators here.
And actually, the supplies are starting to look pretty good for Dude-Try.
Yeah, they're evening up after taking some pretty awful trades, if I have to say.
Yeah, it does look like Omega had a remax, or not so much max, but a sort of a replenish in his system. But his overall, not like he does much of a bank at this point either. So overall, I think that the sort of combination of all of those engagements put Dude-Try a little bit back into this game.
Yeah, a little bit. I think really what brought him back in this game is that little catch of the army out here in the bottom, while the other half of Omega's army was kind of sitting in the back doing nothing. But,
something to note, he did cancel Dude-Try's +2 attack, so it's now 1-1 against 1-2.
So yeah, so that could have been a much bigger upgrade advantage for Dude-Try, but right now it's not going to be. He's going to leapfrog forward with these Liberators and try to catch out this army. Although there are now lurkers on the field, so it's going to be much harder to engage onto this army.
Very careful, and unfortunately, the lurkers kind of force him to play a bit of a slow game here.
Well,
and
he's
here
going to
comes
charge down. Well, he's going to pull back. The lurkers are not going to do too much now that he's pulled back here. There's a lot of it's pretty much a meat grinder for either side. Whoever tries to engage on this ramp is just going to get shredded by either side of splash damage.
Yeah, I mean, really these roaches and ravagers here are basically not doing anything. But these lurkers are just so difficult to engage upon.
Yeah, I think Omega's realizing the more he sits there, the more the siege tanks get pot shots on his army and basically take him out. So he's going to go home.
Yeah, and Dude-Try's recognizing, you see him queue up 3 tanks, so he recognizes that in this situation he needs these tanks, he needs to be able to outrange these lurkers if he's going to have any chance, other than maybe catching them unsieged, which may actually happen depending on how this engagement goes.
Okay.
But there's some mainlings here you have to be very careful against.
Ooh. His army's kind of out here. Dude-Try's out without a siege tank siege, and he's kind of getting surrounded by, getting enveloped by this giant surge army here. And it looks like Dude-Try's gonna get pushed all the way back. I think that just the army spot was just too much for Omega.
Yeah.
Not enough splash damage to deal with all these roaches, hydras, and lurkers, and bears.
He's got a position there, so I don't see how he's gonna be able to defend against. I have to lift off his third. Gonna put a big damper on his economy, and the supplies are really starting to show Omega's favor.
Yep. Although he's walking into this meat grinder, and a lot of these roaches do get taken out. So these lurkers are relatively unsupported, although the wings are coming in now to really take out this third, and he cancels. Oh, he's actually trying to get his own escape path out here onto the left.
The one thing with only 2 Ravagers, I think that the one thing I can see Dude-Try pulling here is if he could get a couple of Liberators on top of these lurkers and kill a bunch of them really fast,
Looks like he's gonna try to get a siege tank up there.
Lurkers, or 51, way to do it.
Nice scan here.
He's gonna get a couple of lurkers, it looks. Maybe only one, but...
Yeah, the siege tank on the high ground is a really good play. But Omega takes out the back doors and he's out of there.
Yeah. The problem really for Dutry though, and he's going to try and float over his third command center over to this other third location, is the longer this goes, the harder it's going to be for him to keep up an economy, and the more that Omega's army is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and his army is going to be him. He's going to have a hard time continuing to produce units. You can see from his production just not producing the number of units he would need comparatively.
Oh, so Omega's actually made a whole bunch of morph drop overloads. Looks like he's gonna go for lurker drops into the main, get on top of that production. This could be very dangerous if Dutry comes out and tries to fight engagement in the middle of the map. Because basically, if he gets on top of the production, you really can't take out lurkers if you're like taking units are coming out one at a time, right? You need a whole bunch of units that really jump on top of lurkers or take them out with siege tanks. So here goes the engagement in the middle of the map.
Right here is not looking that powerful.
Yeah, definitely. If I have the lurkers down here, this army will get taken out. The stim bio, I think 2-3 or 3-2 for Dutry is really gonna shred this Roach Hydra.
Yeah, and
just
got
1-1.
his lurkers in the main, so this is basically it on Dutry's production, at least for now. However, the one thing he always can do is he can lift his production and just move it.
Yeah. But it looks like Dutry's gonna go back and try to save his production. I don't completely disagree with this option because it's just naked lurkers. They're pretty much dead units if you could like scan and surround them, right?
Yeah.
Because lurkers can only shoot in the line.
Force them to live to unburrow.
As long as you don't stay in the line, you get. Oh god, there's no scan over there. All right, so he takes 2 of them out. There's still one over here, or 2 of them over here.
He's gonna get the lurkers. The problem is that the advantage he had in his army after that engagement is basically completely evaporated. Back up to 169 supply from our third player.
Yeah, he gave Omega time to remax off his 4-base economy.
Yep, and all of that time he was killing lurkers. He wasn't producing a single unit because his production was so compromised. And even though he actually does have a bit of a bank, he really does not have the production facilities to continue to actually make his army large enough to compete with this.
Yep. That's one of the big things. If you get on top of a Terran's production, you're really not gonna be able to. You're gonna completely stop his army from growing.
Once again, Dutry is getting a whole bunch of units for free here.
Yeah, he keeps catching these army units that are like moving out these small pockets of Zerg. I don't know if it's just a distraction for this main force up here in the third base, but he's taking some pretty decent trades.
But
it's just that
they
choose
big groups of his army that seem to sort of be pretty unconnected, and that could be the one way I can see Dutry actually being able to kill off this force. It's kind of that piecemeal, different places Zerg.
I could definitely see that, but the problem is with Dutry, he has no mining. He's got 1 base mining down here at the 4th base. His main's mined out, his natural's pretty much mined out, his 3rd is gone, his 4th base is only on minerals. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of bank, but he really doesn't have enough production to really support that bank, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, Dutry's in a lot of trouble, and if this game really continues much longer, it's just gonna continue to spiral. The one thing I think that he can do is if he can somehow catch this army like half and half, and then just push from there.
Yeah, push his advantage right in. He could actually take the game for sure. Because he's been taking pretty good fights.
Bio that if you can sort of deal with the main army, you can kind of just keep a Zerg down from remaxing with this number of forces.
Yeah, for sure. Because once you get this kind of snowbally bio force, right? You take out the army one time, and the Zerg army starts trickling in. You just take it out, and you retain your army because of these medevacs.
Yeah. But the problem is at this point, Omega's army is together, and I think together, this Terran army just is not strong enough. Muscle through it.
Oh, he's gotta drop these siege tanks though. He's gotta fall back to these liberators. He's gonna fall back. It's gonna be alright, but he does need to drop these siege tanks. Because without these siege tanks, this army's splash damage is nothing. Actually nothing.
This is a very mixed Zerg army. Hydra, Roach, Ravager.
So one of everything. You can't counter one of everything. Alright, so he drops in. No, one Liberator goes down. And he's gonna push it to his third base. He's gonna take it out. There's not much mining here, but he will take it out, I think. And there's a stream of Terran coming across the map. Although there is a Ling run by who's gonna try to stifle up this this Terran conga line. That's a big move here by Omega, because these units are
It
gonna
looks
trick
like
him
at
out.
this point Omega has sort of understood he's not. There's no reason to challenge his position. He's just going to try and sort of push back to wherever he is strongest. However, these chokes do start to get a little bit dangerous with the way siege tanks can get around, liberators can get around.
He's going to come over and catch these liberators a little bit uncontested. The Phantoms do roll in, take out a decent chunk of the bio. Oh, big Fungal's up. That's going to be it. Fungal really spells doom for Dude Try.
Yep. Yeah, and I think we just saw there just how, the supplies were still so much in Omega's favor that he wasn't able to really compete in anything except maybe a absolutely perfect engagement, and even then it's going to be hard. And at this point, I think we can now see Omega push through this.
And with this army flying 83 to 31, there's no way that Dude Try's going to be able to muster enough forces to get out here. There it is, GG. Oh, wrong overlay. Fuck. Mobby.
By the way, we may need to switch off Skype at some point because once again, anytime the action heats up, you get really quiet for me.
Okay. I may restart my computer. That might help. Yeah. I'm not actually sure.
It's fine. It's fine for now, and I can kind of just deal with it.
Yeah, because your voice cut goes in and out as like right now it's quiet. I don't know. It might be on my side.
Yeah, it's literally only when the action really heats up that I basically lose. I'll often lose you. So.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try some. I'm gonna stop the stream real quick. I'm gonna come back and see what happens. All right, be right back.